Okay, so good evening to all. Hope you all you are having a great Sunday. So I am your PMRF TA and I am Shankhanarayan Chattopadhyay, and it is our 8th live interaction class, and we are under the NPTEL platform. Today we will learn about triple integral. So in the last class we have learned about double integrals basically. So we have started multiple integrals, learning multiple integrals. So what does basically multiple integrals means? Multiple integrals means that there will be multiple integration sign involved in a integration. So as in double integral case there are two integrations consecutively, and similarly in triple integral there will be three integral signs, and you have to evaluate them one by one. So first we will go through about a simple definition that what does we mean by saying triple integral. So let fxyz be a real valued function defined on a bounded region D in R3. As earlier, we divide the region into smaller cubes enclosed by planes parallel to the coordinate planes. The set of these smaller cubes is called a partition of P. Like when we define Riemann integral for a single variable, then what we did, we actually broken the interval. Similarly, in while doing double integral, we have broken the area, and for triple integral we will break the entire region into some smaller cubes. So then from the Riemann sum S and take its limit as the cubes become smaller and smaller. If the limit exists, we say that the limit is triple integral of the function over the domain D. So this is the definition of triple integral. There are three integration signs involved in it. fxyz triple integration over some domain D. fxyz dv is the function, and its definition is limit norm p tends to 0. Norm p tends to 0 means that cube we are considering, that cube is going to be infinitesimally small. And fxi star yj star zk star, there will be summation on this ijk, and this is the volume of that cube. The volume is, this is the length of the cube which we have considered this smaller cubes. So this is the length of the cube, xi into xi minus xi minus 1. The breadth will be yj minus 1, and the height is zk minus 1. It is simply the extension of what we have taught by defining Riemann integration for a single variable. Now we have learned about Fubini's theorem. That Fubini's theorem says that in case of continuous function, the double integral can be determined by successively solving iterated integrals. The same idea when we have fxyz as a continuous function. So first we will express z in terms of x and y, then first we will compute integration with respect to z, then we express y in terms of x and g1x less than or equal to y less than or equal to g2x, and similarly a less than or equal to x less than or equal to b. This is our last integration. So first we will compute integration with respect to z, then with respect to y, and then respect to x. So this is some schematic illustration that how we are gonna solve it. For example, this is our volume under consideration, right? So this is our volume under consideration. So this is z equal to f1 xy, this the curve below, and this is the this is the surface below that encloses the domain. Say it is z equal to f1 xy, and the surface above is z equal to f2 xy. So first z lies from f1 xy to f2 xy. Okay, so then we will have to determine the range of y. So we will project the two surface on the xy plane. So when we project the two function in the xy plane, we will get the two curves y equal to g1x and y equal to g2x. So this is the limit of, it will give you the limit of y. And similarly, when you once again project this curve on this straight line, you will get 2 points, and that 2 points are a and b. This is the 2 points that will be solely the boundary of x. Okay, so if you are to determine the volume of some this type of thing, volume of this type of geometric object, then what you have to do, you have to just choose the function fxyz as 1. Just remember that when we are determining area of a surface, then also we have put it as, we have put that double integration d1 dA. So all properties for double integrals hold analogously for triple integrals also. So without a delay, let's proceed to solve our first problem regarding triple integral. So first we will try to find out the volume of the solid enclosed by the surfaces this and this. See, so there are, this is the enclosed, these two surfaces encloses the volume, right? So first we will put, if you eliminate z from the two equations, we get the projection of the solid on the xy plane, which is x square plus 2y square. Just put, eliminate z, so what you will get? You get x square plus 3y square equal to 8 minus x square minus y square. So it will eventually give you x square plus 2y square equal to 4, and this will give you the limit of integration for y, that y will varies from okay. So stay with me that when we are so we have to determine the volume of the solid enclosed by the surfaces of this z equal to x square plus 3y square and z equal to 8 minus x square minus y square. So when first our task will be to eliminate z. So when we eliminate z, we will get x square plus 3y square equal to 8 minus x square minus y square. So when you eliminate these two things, you will get y, the limits of y as, okay, the limits of y as minus plus square root of 4 minus x square by 2. So from here you can clearly get the domain for x. So the domain of integration for x will be, because this 4 minus x square should be greater than 0, right? Because y cannot be a complex number. So 4 minus x square should be greater than 0, and it will eventually give you minus 2 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 2. Now we have all the limits that we need to determine the triple integral. That is, z varies from x square plus 3y square, z varies from x square plus 3y square to 8 minus x square minus y square, y varies from minus square root of 4 minus x square by 2 to plus square root of 4 minus x square by 2, and x varies from minus 2 to 2. So all the integration limits we have got. Now we have to just put, because see here we are trying to determine the volume enclosed by the of the solid enclosed by these two surfaces. So our formula will be triple integration d, and the function we have to choose as 1. That is, we have to integrate this dv term over all our domain. So this is the explicit way of solving it. See, so first we have to write the integration sign limit for z, and the limit for z is x square plus 3y square to 8 minus x square minus y square. That we have already got. Now for y, what will be y? From minus to plus, we have used it, minus square root of 4 minus x square by 2 to square root of 4 minus x square by 2, and x, it varies from minus 2 to 2. So clearly we are having minus 2 to 2, right? So we are having dz, dy, dx. Now first we will integrate with respect to dz. So if you integrate with respect to dz, you will get z. Now z, just subtract this, just subtract this from this. So if you subtract it, you will get 8 minus x square minus y square minus x square minus 3y square. So it will eventually give you 8 minus 2x square minus 4y square dy dx. Now here remember, you have to integrate with respect to y. So x will be your constant. So from first two terms you will get 8 minus 2x square into y, because 8 minus 2x square is, because we are doing partial integration, we are integrating with respect to the variable y. Now when you integrate this 4y square, you will get minus 4 by 3 y cube, and the limit for integration is minus square root of 4 minus x square by 2 to the power 4 minus x square by 2. Now just put the values of y here. Okay, so if you just put the value of y here, you will get that from here you can take if you just put here y and the value of y, so you have to just put like 8 minus 2x square in bracket, there will be this square root of 4 minus x square by 2, and once again this will be plus sign square root of 4 minus x square by 2. So it will be like 2 into square root of 4 minus x square by root 2, and if you simplify it, you will get it as 8 into 4 minus x square by 2 to the power 3 by 2, and 4 by 3, so there will be 4 by 3, and there will be y cube means 4 minus x square by 2 square root to the power 3, and this minus sign will give you plus sign, and that's why this plus and plus terms you will eventually get you 2 into 2 times this, so there will be 8 by 3. And now this is your which you have to integrate. Now just simplify it a bit. If you simplify a bit, you will get it as 4 minus x square to the power 3 by 2 dx. Now what you have to do, you have to do just put here x equal to 2 sin theta. If you put x equal to 2 sin theta, then this limit will be from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, and dx will be 2 cos theta d theta. Okay, and then you have to just integrate with respect to theta. Then eventually you will get that this is 8 pi square root of 2. This will be your final answer. Is it clear? Okay, so just I am giving you 2 or 3 minutes, just please go through it, that how we are changing the integration. Actually I have simplified it a bit. I did not write the entire steps to reduce the length, computational length. So I will upload the notes, no worries. I will upload the yesterday week's notes as well as today's notes in the NPTEL portal today itself. Okay, now see, we are to determine the tetrahedron, write the integral fxyz over a tetrahedron with vertices this. So we want to integrate this fxyz over the tetrahedron. Tetrahedron means it has four vertices as iterated integral, right? Okay, see, so there are the vertices are 0 0 0 1 1 0 0 1 0 and 0 1 1. So first sketch the region D to see the limits geometrically. The right hand side bounding surface of D lies in the plane y equal to 1. See, for all the three these, the vertices lies at 1 equal to y equal to 1, because see here it was 1, the middle coordinate is 1, the y coordinate is also 1, and the left hand side bounding surface lies in the plane y equal to z plus x. The projection of D on the zx plane is r. The upper boundary of r is the line z equal to 1 minus x. The lower boundary of r is the line z equal to 0. So eventually we will get that the formula for this tetrahedron, I have given one graphical illustration here. So eventually we will get that x varies from 0 to 1. So x varies from 0 to 1, z varies from 0 to z less than or equal to 1 minus x, and y varies from x plus z less than or equal to y less than or equal to 1. So this is our integration which we have to pose. So how we will pose it? See that first integrating with respect to y, and the limit for y is x plus z to 1. Then integration with respect to z, the limit from 0 to 1 minus x, and then integration with respect to x, the limit is from 0 to 1. So this is your required integration. Now if fxyz is a continuous function, then we can use the iterated, we can exchange the order of integration, and then you can see that when you exchange the y and z coordinate, you will get it that z varies from x to this, what this integration tells is similar to what this integration tells, because these two integrations are same. We have just changed the order of integration, and we have learned that if we change the order, it has some influence on the limit of the integrations. That is why here the limit of the integrations is bit changed. Okay, this is actually a note prepared by me, Krishna Swami sir. This is a note prepared by me, and I will upload this note in NPTEL portal itself. Okay, this is not from book. Is it clear? So there is one order of integration, you have to solve a triple integral by changing the order of the integration. So here what is our order? That x varies from 0 to y varies from 0 to z, and z varies from 0 to 1. Now here how you will change that? You will change to change this dx dy dz order into dz dy dx order. So first you have to find the limit for z. So see, it is our limit that 0 less than or equal to z less than or equal to 1, 0 less than or equal to y less than or equal to z, 0 less than or equal to x less than or equal to y. So first we will change the order of z varies from 0 to 1. So when you will change it, we will get and y less than or equal to z, and x is less than or equal to y. So if we change the limit from this to this, we will get x varies from 0 to 1, and y varies from x to 1, because see, y is less than or equal to z, but y is greater than or equal to z, and z is less than or equal to 1. So y will vary from x less than or equal to y less than or equal to 1. And how z is varying? Z is varying like z is greater than or equal to y but less than or equal to 1. So now we have changed it, the limits. So this integration 0 to 1, 0 to z, 0 to y e की power 1 minus x whole cube dx dy dz we have changed it in the order integration 0 to 1 x to 1 y to 1 e to power 1 minus x whole cube dz dy dx. So first we will integrate with respect to z. So if you first integrate with respect to z, you will get integration 0 to 1 integration x to 1. So first there will be one term called z, and when you put these limits you will get 1 minus 1. Okay, now you have to integrate with respect to y. So it will be 1 minus y. So when you integrate it and put the limit x and 1, you will get as 1 minus x whole square by 2 e to power 1 minus x whole cube dx. Now just put 1 minus x equal to t. If you substitute 1 minus x equal to t, 1 minus x whole cube equal to t, then it will be give you e to power t 1 to 0, there will be 1 minus sign, and this will be, since t square dt, so t square dt, this will be t square, and when you substitute this dx with in terms of dt, you will manage to okay. So when you substitute this this dx with dt, you will get that this t square term cancels. So that is how you will eventually get that to be e minus 1 by 6. I am giving you 2 or 3 minutes, just pause and just watch that how this solution you are doing, and once you are done, I am giving you 2 or 3 minutes, just go through what we have done here, just go through this problem. Just go through this problem. I am giving you 2 or 3 minutes, just go through it. Okay, that how we have changed this integration dx dy dz to dz dy dx. Next, just go through it. I am giving you 2 or 3 minutes. Next we will read that how to solve triple integration in cylindrical coordinate system. Okay, so hope this question is clear. Now we will move to triple integration in cylindrical coordinate system. So in Cartesian coordinate system we have the coordinate axis as x, y and z, but in case of cylindrical coordinate system we have r, theta and z system. This triplet r, theta, z, where r, theta is the polar representation of the projection of P on the xy plane. So this is how we represent any Cartesian point xyz in terms of cylindrical polar coordinate system. So there are two polar coordinate system in 3D. ठीक है, the first one is cylindrical polar coordinate system, that is r theta z, and the second one is the spherical polar coordinate system, that is r theta phi. Now see, so any Cartesian representation that has xyz and any cylindrical representation r theta z, then x equal to r cos theta and y equal to r sin theta and z equal to z. So that is the relation between the independent variables xyz and r theta z. So what does r means? R equal to means r describes a cylinder with axis as z axis. Theta describes a plane containing the z axis, and z describes a plane perpendicular to z axis. That is the and in Cartesian coordinate system you consider as small cubes, and in cylindrical polar coordinate system you consider this type of volumes and you integrate it. Understood? In xyz we considered small cubes. Now here we consider this type of thing, this type of elementary volume. And if you are to determine the volume element, and this in Cartesian case the volume element is simply dx dy dz, right? But in cylindrical polar coordinate system, this volume element, its volume is r dr d theta dz. To never forget that when you are integrating with respect to cylinder, put instead of dv, put r dr d theta dz. Okay, now see our first problem. Find the limits of integration in cylindrical coordinate system for interchanging a function f r theta z over the region D, bounded below by the plane z equals to 0, laterally by the circular cylinder x square plus y minus 1 whole square equal to 1, and above by the paraboloid z equal to x square plus y square. So our limit for z will be from 0 to x square plus y square, right? And from here we will get x square plus y minus 1 whole square equal to 1. From here we will get the limits of x as well as y. So the projection of D onto the xy plane gives the disk R enclosed by the circle x square plus y minus 1 whole square equal to 1. So if you just simplify it, you will get this as x square plus y square equal to 2y. And if you use polar forms, x equal to r cos theta and y equal to r sin theta, then it will be like x square plus y square will be r square cos square theta plus r square sin square theta. It will be r square equal to 2y means 2r sin theta. So eventually r you cancel it and you will get r equal to 2 sin theta. So what will be the limit? And r varies from 0 to 2 sin theta, 0 to 2 sin theta, and theta varies from 0 to pi. Okay, so theta varies from 0 to pi, r varies from 0 to 2 sin theta, and z varies from 0 to r square. Why is z varies to 0 to r square? We all see z equal to this paraboloid is the upper limit for z, and if you substitute here x equal to r cos theta, y equal to r sin theta, you will get 0 to r square and f r theta z, and the elementary volume will be r dz dr d theta. That's it. Now once again similar problem. See, the limit for x is minus 2 to 2, the limit for y is minus 4 minus x square to the power 4x minus x square, and limit for z is root over x square plus y square to 2. Now we substitute this Cartesian coordinate system into polar coordinate system, right? We substitute this Cartesian coordinate system into polar coordinate system. So substitute x as r cos theta, y as r sin theta, and z as simply z. So this x square plus y square, it will give you r square. So first r square, and this elementary dv, that will be converted in the cylindrical polar coordinate system as dz dr d theta, and there will be one r, because remember that when you are solving in cylindrical polar coordinate system, your elementary area will be elementary volume will be r d theta dz dr. This is, so when you integrate this thing, so it will be r square. Now the crucial part is to determine the limits. So here we have, as this is our r, so this is square root of r square, that means r. So z varies from r to 2. Then we are trying to find out the limit for r, and r varies from 0 to 2, and theta varies from 0 to 2 pi. Now it is just your simple integration, that is r cube dz dr d theta. First integrate with respect to dz, it will give you z, it will end up you giving 2 minus r. Now r cube into 2 minus r, there will be one bracket. Sorry, I forgot to give one bracket here, or just remove this bracket one. So this is r cube, so 2r cube minus r to the power 4. You integrate it, you will get simply 2 into 2 to the power 4 by 4 minus 2 to the power 5 by 5. So it will be 8 by 5, and then d theta. D theta means 0 to 2 pi, and it is 16 by 5 into pi. So this is the main thing of integration in cylindrical polar coordinate system. So never forget to add in the elementary area, that is dv as r dz dr d theta. Okay, so the elementary area for cylindrical polar coordinate system is r dz dr d theta. Similarly, the other polar coordinate system in 3 dimension is the spherical coordinate system. So there is also one coordinate system called the spherical polar coordinate system. So what is spherical polar coordinate system and the relation between Cartesian coordinate system? The transformation is x equal to, so there is the relation as clearly see that the spherical coordinate express a point P in a space as a triple rho phi theta. Now the coordinate system reduces between rho phi theta. What is rho? Rho is the distance of P from the origin O. Phi is the angle between z axis and the line OP, and theta is the angle between the projected line of OP on the xy plane and x axis. Theta is the same as the cylindrical theta. Moreover, rho is the greater than or equal to 0, phi lies between 0 to pi, and theta lies between 0 to 2 pi. So if P x y z has spherical representation rho phi theta, so the relation between x y z and rho phi theta are x equal to rho sin phi cos theta, y equal to rho sin phi sin theta, and z equal to rho cos phi. Just remember it. And what will be the elementary area? It will be rho square sin phi dr d phi d theta. So the elementary area, see, this is the elementary area, elementary volume in spherical polar coordinate system. It will be rho square sin phi d rho d phi d theta. Got my point? And what is this elementary volume in cylindrical polar coordinate system? In cylindrical polar coordinate system, this elementary volume is r dr d theta dz. But in spherical polar, it is rho square sin phi dr d phi d theta. D rho d phi d theta. This is one schematic idea that how you have to use the limits and all. So So first see, so there is, you have to determine the solid D cut from the ball rho greater than less than or equal to 1 by the cone phi equal to pi by 3. So what will be the limits? Your theta will vary from 0 to 2 pi, phi will vary from 0 to pi by 3, and rho will vary from 0 to 1. Now just integrate rho square sin phi d rho d phi d theta. You will get this answer to be pi by 3. First integrate with respect to rho. It will give you rho cube by 3. From when you put 0 to 1 limit, it will be 1 by 3. Then integrate sin phi d phi. Then integrate finally d theta. Right. Now see how this simple translation from spherical polar, or like from Cartesian to spherical polar gives you idea about solving for this type of complicated multiple integrals. See, so this is given in Cartesian coordinate system, right? So here the limit for x is minus 1 to 1, the limit for y is minus square root of 1 minus x square to 1 minus x square, and the limit for z is minus square root of 1 minus x square minus y square to the power square root of 1 minus x square minus y square. So just substitute in spherical polar coordinate system. So in spherical polar coordinate system, this x square, what will be the x? X will be rho sin phi cos theta. What will be y? Y will be rho sin phi sin theta, and what will be z? It will be rho cos phi. So if you take square, you will get it as rho square. So eventually it will give you rho cube, and dz dy dx, it will end up you giving rho square sin phi d rho d phi d theta. Now just integrate. It is very easy. It will be 4 pi by 3 e minus 1. Just watch carefully that what is example 2.30, what does it mean. Okay, just carefully watch this question, that how this spherical polar coordinate system helps one to integrate this type of complicated functions, this type of complicated integrals. Otherwise, if you don't know spherical polar coordinate system, then you are doomed, because see how much complicated it is, right? It is how much complicated it is. There are square root, minus, plus, e to the power something, but when you are in spherical polar coordinate system, the things are so easy. So there are some elementary question that why, when we are just changing the limit, when see when you are coming from Cartesian coordinate system to spherical polar coordinate system, there you are adjusting the dimensions. That's why this additional rho square sin phi term is coming, right? This is actually the Jacobian, and when you change the variables, there you have to multiply the absolute value of the Jacobian. That is what they have actually calculated here. So that is called actually Jacobian. So I will not go through the detailed proof. You can easily have that how they are coming and all. So I will just show you some problems based on that, why we are having that type of Jacobian and all. So see, evaluate the double integration r y minus x dA, where r is the region bounded by lines 1 minus y minus x equal to 1, y minus x equal to minus 3, 3y plus x and 3y plus x. So we will use translation of lines, translation of coordinate axis. What does it mean? We will simply take two new variables, u equal to y minus x and v equal to x plus 3y. Now express x and y in terms of u and v. That's a two variables u and v, and there are two unknowns, right? Two variables and two unknowns. So you can clearly determine the value from here, right? You can determine the value from here directly. Then see, so how u is ranging from u to -3 to 1, v is ranging from 7 to 15. We have just taken y minus x as u and 3y plus x as v. Now we have to determine Jacobian. So what does Jacobian mean? Jacobian means first you have to partially differentiate x with respect to u, partial differentiate y with respect to v minus x v y u. So when you partially differentiate u with respect to x, when you partial differentiate, this is the expression for x and u. When you partially differentiate x with respect to u, you get -3 by 4. When you partially differentiate x with respect to v, you will get 1 by 4, and here you will, in both the cases, you will get 1 by 4, 1 by 4. So when you take absolute value, this determinant, this is actually determinant, so it will be like plus 1 by 4. That is one typo, that will be 1 by 4. This is absolute value of j. The Jacobian is -1 by 4, but the absolute value is 1 by 4, and we have to substitute the absolute value only. So now just what is u? This is y minus x is u. So u into absolute value of j. So absolute value of j is 1 by 4, and dA means dv du. Now just integrate with respect to dv and du. This will be -8. That's the answer. They are very simple actually. This type of maths, that will actually, this type of summation will come in your exams, that how you will handle this type of double integrals when you need some translation and all, and then that is how you can handle these issues, that how we are like using substitution, we are using like these things. So when you are translating it, you actually need this Jacobian, and you have to put the absolute value of the Jacobian. So yes sir, you want to ask something?
Sir, what is the name of this book, sir?
Okay, I have written it. It is not from any book. It is actually some note prepared by me.
Okay.
I will upload this note. What I am teaching today, are you understanding it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Just watch clearly that what we are doing here. That once again here we will use the transformation. And what is the transformation? We are talking about that x minus y by 2, v equal to y by 2, right? That is the translation we have to take to solve this integration. And also without taking this type of translation also you can do. Just first integrate with respect to x, just put the values. You can solve directly it also. No matter, it is not necessary to take the translation. So see, u equal to x minus y by 2. So what it will give? 2u equal to 2x minus y and 2v equal to y. From here we will get the relation that x equal to u plus v and y equal to 2v. So this is our domain of integration, and when we translate it to here, this type of transformation, we get that u varies from 0 to 1, v varies from 0 to 2. So see what this type of translation does. See here, this is a parallelogram, right? Here your area of integration is actually a parallelogram, but when you use the translation x equal to u plus v and y equal to 2v, you will get it as a rectangular region, that is rectangular slab. So here integration becomes easier. You have to just integrate from 0 to 1 and 0 to 2, and first don't forget to determine the Jacobian. So what will be the Jacobian of transformation? Jacobian will be simply 1. First let's see, First see, this is x, so xu into yv. So x partial derivative with respect to u will be 1, y partial derivative with respect to v will be 2, so 2 into 1, and then minus yu here, this term contains no u, so it will be 0, so 2 minus 0 will be 2. Now 2x minus y by 2, so 2x minus y is 2u, so that will be 2u by 2 will be 2, and the domain of integration changes from xy plane to u dv plane. So it will be 0 to 1, 0 to 2 u du dv, but there is one typo here. So the Jacobian is 2, and 2x minus y is 2u. So here there will be one more term called 2. There will be one term 2u. So there will be no this divided by 2. There is, sorry for these typos, the answer will be 4. This is a typo here. Okay. So there will be not this 2 here. There will be simply answer will be 4. So there are also many problems, like this problem is fxy equal to xy into square root of x square plus y square over the domain, and x square minus y square varies from minus 3 to 3. Okay, I am skipping this question. I have to focus on more, like that will be helpful for your NPTEL exam. So okay, just carefully read this question first. Find the area of the region bounded by the curves y equal to x and y equal to 2 minus x square. The points of, so y equal to x and y equal to 2 minus x square. So the limit for y is from x to 2 minus x square. It is clear. And the limit for x, you have to determine it by using when they actually intersect with each other. So they intersect at minus 2 and 1. And see, we have taken this as absolute value because area can never be negative, but our integrations may come negative because we don't know that from which direction we have to take integration and all. Okay, so we need to take this is 9 by 2. Similarly, x varies from 0 to 3 by 2, 0 to 1, y varies from 0 to 3 by 2, 4 minus x square y square dx dy. Just integrate with respect to dx. They are very small problems. You can also at least try these questions on your own. See how smaller this question, and this question will actually come in your, will appear actually in your NPTEL exam. Got my point? So they are actually the question which you have to solve on your own. Just see what we are doing. We are doing just putting the limits. We are just putting the limit. Okay, we are just putting the limit here, that it will be from the limit of x will be this, limit of y will be this, and all. And we are just putting it here, and we are getting the result. So x varies from 0 to 3 by 2, y varies from 0 to 3 by 2, x varies from 0 to 1. Just we are then doing integration, and integration is giving us the answer, the 35 by 8. That is all. Similarly, there is one problem, that evaluate the double integral of fxy equal to 1 plus x plus y over the region bounded by y equal to minus x, y equal to 2, and the parabola x equal to root 1. So first we have to determine the limit for y. So first of all, x varies from minus y. See, x varies from minus y to root y, and y varies from 0 to 2, and it is 1 plus x plus y. Now just integrate. You just integrate with respect to x, then put the limits, and you will get the answer. Here is also just change the order type of problem. What you are doing, that y equal to root x and y equal to x square. So it will be x equal to first the limit will be x equal to y square to x equal to y, and y will vary from 0 to 1. That's the problem. That is how you have changed the limit. Clearly these questions are easy. Evaluate integration d e की power y by x dA, where d is the triangle bounded by the straight lines y equal to x, y equal to 0 and x equal to 1. So how the limit goes? Y goes from 0 to 1 and x goes from y goes from 0 to x, x goes from 0 to 1. You just integrate it, you will get e minus 1 by 2. This is also a same problem, that you have to annular region bounded by two square of side 2 and 4, each having center at 0 0. So there are two square, and in between the thin strip you have to actually integrate it. You can draw the two squares of side 2 and 4, and then you can just simply calculate it. Okay, next, x square plus y square to the power minus 2 dA. So just use polar coordinate system. If you use polar coordinate system, x equal to r cos theta, y equal to r sin theta, you will get x varies from, so y varies from r varies from theta varies from 0 to pi by 4, theta varies from 0 to pi by 4, and x varies from sec theta to 2 cos theta. Use integration, put there, and you will get pi by 16. Once again, calculate the volume of the solid bounded by the planes x equals to 0, y equals to 0, z equals to 0, and x plus y plus z equal to 1. See, first integrate from z will be integration. So the volume v is, so first now if you just integrate it on x equals to 0, y equals to 0 to 1 minus x, z equals to 0 to 1 minus x minus y into dx dy dz. So first you integrate with respect to z, you will get 1 minus x minus y, then integrate with respect to 0 to 1 minus x, then integrate with respect to 0 to 1, you will get 1 by 6 answer. These questions are very easy. Problem 2.9 is also a very easy question, that you have to determine the volume of the solid bounded by the spherical surface x square plus y square plus z square equal to 4 square, and the cylinder x square plus y square equal to twice ay, where a is greater than 0. Right? So see, compute the volume V of the solid bounded by the spherical surface x square plus y square plus z square equal to 4a square, and the cylinder x square plus y square equal to twice ay. So the integration will be z varies from z, first of all z varies from or square root of 4 s square minus x square minus y square. That varies from y varies from 0 to 2 a y minus y square, and x varies from 0 to 2 a. So we are only, this is actually the sphere, entire sphere. So first we will only integrate with respect to 0 to this part, and sphere is a symmetric object, so then we can just only multiply it with 4 to get the overall answer. Now just put x square plus y square equal to r square. You put x equals to r cos theta, y equal to r sin theta. You will get this as square root of 4 square minus r square, r dr d theta. And if you integrate with respect to r and theta and all, just put now r equal to 2a sin theta, integrate it, that r dr. So if you just put 4a square minus r square as p, and then if you integrate it, you will get this answer. There are many problems here. There are many review problems and all. There are also this type of integration. Evaluate I equal to minus infinity to infinity e की power minus x square dx. This type of integration, you can just have a look that how we are solving this type of equations, and that is actually one interesting problem, that compute the volume of the ellipsoid. So what we get the volume of a sphere? The volume of a sphere is 4 pi by 3 r cube, right? And what is the volume of this type of thing? See, so the equation for sphere is x square plus y square plus z square equal to 1, and the equation for ellipsoid is x square by a square plus y square by b square plus z square by c square equal to 1. So projection, now you have to just put it as, you can also use the translation formula, that you use x as you can use new variables. You use new variables, that instead of x, y, z, you use new variables p, q and r. Now take x equal to ap, y equal to bq, and z equal to cr. So z equal to cr. So what will be the Jacobian of transformation? Jacobian of transformation will be ABC. So then it will be become p square plus q square plus r square, and there will be ABC, and then it reduces to sphere. Then you can use the spherical polar coordinate system, and then you can eventually determine the answer. You will get this 4 pi ABC by 3. This integral, see, e की power minus ax minus e की power minus bx by x dx. So this is a single improper integral. You write it as multiple integral. See, if you multiple integral, see, a to b e की power minus yx. So when you integrate it, it will be e to the power minus yx, e to the power minus yx by x. You put y, you will get it e to the power minus ax minus e की power minus bx. Just if you integrate with respect to y, you will get this. Now you change the order of integration. If you change the order of integration from dy dx to dx dy, 0 to infinity and all, it will be dy by y and it will be ln b by a. Similarly, this problem here also a one problem that actually uses changing the order of the integration. This here y varies from 1 to 9, x varies from root y to 3, x varies from root y to 3. So that is how this is the our domain of integration. And if you change the order of integration, y varies from 1 to 9, so you will get x varying from 1 to 3 and y varies from 1 to x square. Then you integrate it, you will get this answer. This is actually one mean value type of theorem, that this integration will always lie between pi by 3 to pi, and this is the proof. So evaluate what is our domain W. This is solid bounded by this in the first octant. And what does first octant means? That the limit will be start from x equals to 0, y equals to 0 and z equals to 0. So here z varies from x plus y to 3x plus 5y, y varies from 0 to 1 minus x, and x varies from 0 to 1, and z dv means dx dy dz. Now you integrate dz z dz, it will be z square and all, and it becomes a very simple problem that if you just like, if you it becomes a simple example. You can also try on your own. Now there is one fun problem. The n-dimensional cube with a sides has volume a ki power n. What is the volume of an n-dimensional ball? Okay, so if you have a square with two sides, a being the side, then the area of the square will be a square. If you have a cube with side a, the volume will be a cube. If you have a volume hypercube in the fourth dimension, its volume will be a ki power 4, right? And in a nth dimensional cube, you will have the volume to be a ki power n. Now the question is, if you have instead of cube, if you have n-dimensional ball, then what will be the answer? If you have a square, if you have a circle, the area will be pi r square. If you have a sphere, the volume will be 4 pi r cube by 3. And if you have a hyper sphere, then its area will be a n r ki power n. And you will prove it that C3 will become 4 by 5, C4 will become, that is C3 means C3, C4 is 3 pi by 8. So that is how you can try that a 2 to the power m pi to the power m by m factorial. So this is your answer, that if it's a n r to the power n, the nth dimensional sphere, then a 2m will be pi to the power m by m factorial, and a 2m plus 1 will be 2 to the power m plus 1 by pi to the power m by 1 into 3 into 5 into 2m plus 1. So that is all. We have discussed a lot on triple integral, order changing and all. We have solved some problems, and we will meet in our next class, and I will discuss more on this differential calculus part. I will discuss some more problems on differential calculus part, and next we will move into linear algebra part. Okay. So in today's class we have learned about mostly about triple integral. So we have learned about triple integral and all the things, and in the next class also I will discuss some problems on differential calculus, differential integration, this all. And sir, am I audible? Okay. For learning linear algebra, you can okay. Okay, I will discuss some more problems on improper integral in the next class. I have some problems on improper integral. I will discuss those improper integral part. Okay, thank you sir for joining. Thank you.